Have you ever gone looking for inspiration and ended up 3 hours deep into a doom scroll spiral? Yep, same. And if this is you, this video is going to save you. So Pinterest used to be my go-to for mood boards. It used to be the place where I would go to gather inspiration fast whenever I started a new project. But now it's not the same anymore. Half of the results are AI fakes, overly perfect, historically wrong, totally lifeless, and sometimes even creepy. And it gets worse. Every time I'd pin something, Pinterest would be like, "Oh, you like that? Well, here's 50 more just like it." So my inspiration was literally being curated by an algorithm. Next thing you know, I'm trapped in a doom scroll time wrap with 100 pins that all look the same. Let's not forget that half of those pins aren't even real. So I hit this wall while prepping for the lettering style challenge, and I was like, nope, I need to find a better solution ASAP. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down in this video. So today I'll show you how to find real inspiration that actually helps you create the work you imagine in your head. Hi everyone, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Aurélie, I'm a lettering artist, and while I've been doing lettering for a very long time, things really changed when I started participating in lettering challenges. Bear with me, this will make sense in a minute. So these challenges gave me the motivation to create more work, to experiment with different styles, and actually finish pieces. They've also allowed me to improve my skills and develop my style dramatically. And that's why I now host the Lettering Style Challenge, which is free, by the way, and anyone can participate. And it's designed to help other artists create consistently, stay motivated, and essentially push their style further. Now, whenever I start a new challenge, the very first thing I do is set a vision for what I want to achieve, and I go look for inspiration. To make sure that my challenge is meaningful and headed in the right direction, I spend a lot of time researching, gathering visual references, and building a library of ideas before I even draw a single letter. And this is exactly the first thing I get my students to do in my course Lettering Style Secrets, which helps them prepare for a challenge. So I get everyone to gather inspiration of things they love and are naturally drawn to. So their work starts from a place that feels truly theirs. Because I think that in order to create something that's truly original, no matter the intended outcome, it will require a lot of effort. And you can't find your style in isolation. What I mean by that is that you need to constantly look outside and observe what's been done before. And the images, the colors, and the textures that you surround yourself with will shape your creative vision. And that's also why I always say that being a lettering artist is like having a conversation with the type designers who came before you, because you're building on what came before. You're not inventing anything from scratch. So you need to build on the past. You need to take what inspires you, learn from it, add your own twist to it, and constantly keep looking for new references. So collecting inspiration gives you something to lean on when you're stuck and builds a library that reflects your taste, ready to spark ideas when it's time to create. So this is why finding the right inspiration matters so much. And this is exactly when I would go on Pinterest and just pin images after images without really knowing when to stop and without even knowing if what I was saving was accurate. And the worst part, you can lose hours just doom scrolling without actually creating anything useful. I'm sure we've all been there. Just a side note, by the way, this is not Pinterest faults at all. I still love it and I'll continue to use it. It's not just happening on Pinterest either. The same issue exists with Instagram, TikTok, and basically anything with an algorithmic feed. So my biggest problem with AI images on Pinterest, aside from its ethical stuff, which is not what I'm going to get into today, is that they're just not real. They're not from an actual time period. They were not created by a human, and they miss all the history, the experience, and the imperfections that make a style feel alive. AI can spit out an image that looks like art, but it doesn't have that human tension, the story, the struggle, the relationship between the artist and their world. And that's exactly why lettering styles are built on. Every style comes out of a time and a place. Like, for example, the Bauhaus, which came from modernist design, Rococo from an era of ornament and luxury, Filetteado from sign painters that were trying to catch attentions in the streets. And these styles carry the fingerprints of their history. That's what makes them meaningful. And if you cut out the human and the context like AI does, you're left with something that looks pretty, but doesn't say anything. And that means you might be pinning things that never existed, mashed together without intent, and just plain wrong. And if that's your inspiration, you're building your style on the wrong foundation, especially with lettering, where understanding the history of typography and the rules is so important. And that's the last thing you want if you're trying to develop your style. But of course, AI is just one part of a bigger problem. In his book, Filter Word, Kyle Shaika explains how algorithmic feeds flatten culture by showing you the same thing over and over again. He says algorithmic recommendations are addictive because they subtly confirm your own cultural, political, and social biases, wrapping your surroundings into a mirror image of yourself. And if that's true, then the last thing you want when developing a unique lettering style is to only see what an algorithm decides for you. Passive consumption means giving up your agency to discover what is truly meaningful to you. But if you step off the feed and actually take the time to learn, research, and refine what you're looking for, you start to build real appreciation and even expertise. That slower, self-managed approach is way more sustainable, and it treats inspiration as something important and part of the process, and not just time wasted online. And that's exactly why I am making this video, because lately I've been feeling a little bit stuck on Pinterest. It's easy, it's fast, that's for sure, but it's not giving me the quality and the authenticity I want anymore. So I have been searching for a better way to find inspiration, and I'm going to share them with you. I'll show you where to get real references, how to organize them without falling into the scroll trap, and how you can use them to prepare for your challenge. All right, so let's talk about where to actually find real inspiration. You know, the good stuff that's going to help you build your style instead of watering it down. The easiest place to start will be online, of course, but remember that not all online resources are created equal. You want places that are trustworthy with real images made by real humans. So two of my favorites are actually called Unsplash and Pexels, and they're both free photography websites. The great thing is that they don't allow generative AI uploads, as far as I know, and that means you can grab real photos for your color palettes, your mood references, or even just to spark an idea. And if you want more historical or typographic references, skip Pinterest and go straight to the archives. I love archives.org, the New York Public Library digital collections, and the Met's open access. So these are full digitized scans of real paintings, posters, books, and design ephemera. So these includes thousands of images of public domain artworks available for free and unrestricted use. My all-time favorite though is probably Letterform Archive. If you've never browsed it, prepare to get lost in the most beautiful collection of typography and lettering from across history. It's like Disneyland, but for type nerds. Now, if you're trying to figure out what a typeface is, or if you're curious to see how a certain font looks like in a real use project, then check out Fonts in Use. It's one of the best sites to study how types actually lives out in the world, from books to posters to packaging. And I think it's really super cool to see how the same font is being used in different contexts. And one more sneaky tip, I love looking at digital agency websites, online magazines, and anything like a curated art platform, places like Closer and Closer or H Plus Creative, or magazine like High Fructose, Juxtapose, or Beautiful Bizarre. They will showcase artists and designers who are doing cool, relevant work right now. And if they are featured there, you know there is something interesting going on about their style. And of course, you can still use Pinterest and Instagram and any other platform like that. I'm not saying to ban them forever, but please do it mindfully, set a time limit maybe, be selective, and don't let yourself fall into a scroll trap. Now, this is where the real magic happens, and this is probably my favorite way to find inspiration, is of course getting away from the screen. Antique stores are one of my go-tos. I usually walk in there with my phone and just hunt for lettering on old packaging, signage, and like vintage trinkets boxes. You'll find details you'll never see online. You've also got, of course, bookshops and libraries. You'll find covers, layouts, and type that you can actually hold in your hand and that you are actually drawn to yourself, like not just stuff that is recommended to you. So be mindful next time you go in a bookstore and see what grabs your attention quickly and try to figure out why. You of course have museum and galleries. They will put design in context so you can see how styles were used in their actual time periods, not just floating on an algorithmic board. You can also check out thrift store and flea markets. These are perfect for this. You never know what kind of like forgotten treasure you'll find from like old cookbooks or anything with like gorgeous type on like handmade signage and stuff like that. Of course, as well, don't underestimate the importance of your own stock photography. So always take pictures when you're out walking, anything like shop fronts, neon sign, chalkboard menus, graffiti, like whatever catches your eye really. These are way more authentic, real world references that will give your work more depth. And one of my favorite ways to prep for the lettering style challenge is literally just going to an antique store with my phone, and I always find some unexpected lettering detail that sparks an idea. And that's the beauty of real inspiration. It doesn't just look good, it makes you feel something. Now, if you guys have any recommendations at all, websites that you like to browse or places you like to go to find inspiration, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know, and I think everyone else would appreciate that as well. Yeah, I'm always on the hunt for new sources of inspiration. Okay, so now that you know why inspiration matters and where to find it, the real work is in how you curate it. So anyone can collect random images, but building a mood board that actually supports your style takes effort. You need to be intentional about what goes on there, how you connect those ideas together, and even how you might use that to shape a theme for your challenge. And this is exactly what I teach inside my course Lettering Style Secret, where I'll show you step by step how to pick the right references, how to organize them so they are useful and not just like a pretty clutter, and how to turn that board into a tool that keeps you inspired all month long. We obviously go into a lot more in the course, but that's just what we do in week 1 and week 2. Because if you put in the effort now, your mood board will become your safety net when you hit a block. So instead of just like scrolling for hours, you'll already have exactly what you need to spark ideas. And yes, you'll also see exactly what theme I chose for my challenge this year and how I use all of my references images in my work. So if you're planning on joining this year's lettering style challenge and want to learn how to curate like a pro and make your challenge experience way more meaningful, I would love to have you join my course Lettering Style Secrets, where we will dive deep into building a mood board that doesn't just inspire you, but also helps you create work that feels more like you and helps you build your style, a style unique to you that people will pay for. And that's it, guys. Don't forget, the Lettering Style Challenge is completely free. It is fun, it is open to anyone, and it only happens once a year. So if you don't join, you're literally missing out on the best way to grow your style and connect with other lettering artists. So download the free prompt guide underneath this video, and you'll have all of the definition of all of the prompts with some visual examples, so you know exactly what to do each day. I really hope you can join us this October, and let's make something amazing together. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. How do you find inspiration, Monica? Well, that's interesting. Anything you'd like to add?